Folks, so we had some requests this morning to stretch and open and relax the back and the spine. So today I'm going to actually invite everyone to begin in a kind of relaxation pose that's actually reclined on your back with your spine supported by your blanket in a long roll. So if you know where we're going, go ahead and just move into your own version of that shape. And if you're not quite sure where we're going, then you want to grab a blanket or a towel and open it up so that when you roll it up, it's going to be at least as long as your upper body. So take that blanket and just make a long roll. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to support your back. Now, I will say if you have some tenderness or any kind of past injuries or current stuff you're dealing with in your spine, you might want a little bit of a smaller roll. So you can feel free to unroll your blanket like halfway and just use that to gently open your back. Otherwise, make a nice thick roll. And you'll place the blanket along your mat, closer to one side of your mat. Then you'll sit yourself onto your mat, right on your mat. So not actually sitting on the blanket, but you'll scoop yourself right up against the end of the blanket. Keep your knees bent to make it really gentle on your back as you lower yourself down, so that the blanket falls all the way along the middle of your back and under your head. So you want your head and neck to be supported here too. Once you find a comfortable place to let your body just recline there, you can expand your arms, making a big T shape, arms out from the shoulders, or you might bend at the elbows, finding more cactus arm variation. And there are three choices today for you to play with your legs. You might keep your knees bent and walk your feet out toward the edges of your mat, and then let your knees and thighs rest together. And that's probably going to be the most supportive on your low back. You can also explore slowly extending one or both legs until you're just lying flat on your back with your legs outstretched. The third option, and feel free to play with a couple of these because we'll be here for a couple minutes, is to join the soles of your feet together and let your knees open wide. Feel free to bring blocks or pillows under your thighs if you want to give your knees some more support. And I'll invite all of you just to gently soften your gaze at a single point above you, or let your eyes close if that's comfortable. Draw some of your attention to your breathing without doing anything to change your breath. And start to allow your body to relax just a bit more every time you exhale. Using your exhales to facilitate that release of your muscles into the floor. Just letting go to gravity and feeling the support of your blanket. As you're noticing your breath, invite your breath to lengthen and slow, just filling up a bit more and emptying your lungs by drawing your navel in slightly, pressing a little more air out. If your arms ever need a different variation here, you can just let your hands rest on your belly, your heart, or even bring your arms down beside you. We'll be here for a little while longer, but if at any point you feel like your body's ready to move away from this pose, the way to get out of it is just to gently roll off to one side. Bend your knees and let your body roll off to either side. Push your blanket out of the way and just rest on your back. But as long as it's comfortable, I'll invite you to breathe here. Explore some different variations with your legs, if you'd like. And just gradually allow your body, your breath, your nervous system to slow down. With your head supported by a blanket, you can explore moving through your neck a little bit, but invite your jaw to relax first. Your lower teeth separate from your upper teeth. And then you might rock your head slowly, a little bit side to side. So maybe not going so far that your head rolls all the way off your blanket and you have to use those tender neck muscles to draw your head back up. But just start to explore some slight movement side to side. You can let your jaw wiggle. You might stick your tongue out, make a few faces, scrunching up the muscles of your face, stretching them out. Just letting all those muscles in your face start to release. Then let your head come to stillness, in line with your spine, and find a little tuck of your chin so that the back of your neck lengthens. I'll offer one more variation for your arms if you'd like to explore lengthening through the sides of your body. Bring your arms up above your head and hold opposite forearms or elbows, just letting your forearms rest on the blanket above you. So you're lengthening from hips to elbows all the way up the sides of your body. Find just a few more breaths here. I just realized that I forgot to mute everyone, so I'm going to just do that really quickly so there's no other noises coming through as we're moving through our class. All right, if you're still on your back here, gently draw your arms down beside you. Bend your knees, plant your feet on your mat, and then just gently roll off to either side. I'm going to make our way off our blanket. Push your blanket off your mat behind you, just get it out of the way, and just come back onto your back with your knees bent. Let your thighs knock together, walking your feet out a little ways to the sides of your mat. Your hands can just rest on your belly or your belly and your chest. You can walk your shoulder blades away from each other under your back, letting your shoulders broaden. And just notice the difference in your breath, if any. From here, start to extend both legs long. On your mat, bring your feet close together. Reach both of your arms overhead and take a really long stretch. Reach up with one hand and then the other. Extend one heel forward and then the other. Just stretching every which way. And bringing your arms down, let's bring the knees up, plant your feet, and then gently roll off to either side again, and slowly press your way up, finding a comfortable seat. So take your time here, there's really no rush. You want to come up slowly. And if you like to sit on a blanket while you're doing seated poses, then you can take the time here to unroll your blanket, fold it how you like to sit on it, and just bring it underneath you. So a comfortable seat, it might be cross-legged, but you can also extend one or both legs out in front of you or kneel, sitting on a blanket or block or pillow. Most important thing is that your spine is long and shoulders stacked over your hips. Let's begin with a few shoulder rolls, just letting that jaw relax again, and then drawing your shoulders up toward your ears, and together and down your back. And just find your own rhythm. So they might be really small circles or very large circles. One shoulder might move at a different pace than the other. Simply start to observe how your shoulders feel as they want to move. Can you continue breathing as you circle through your shoulders? Let's find some circles in the other direction, drawing shoulders together and up on your back, and then forward and down your front. You can be linking this movement with your breath if you want, inhaling as the shoulders lift, exhaling as they lower. And just let your shoulders relax now. Hands can rest lightly on your knees or thighs. Let's draw the shoulders up, once again, just shrugging this time. And then with an exhale, let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And find a few more. So we're just allowing the shoulders really to find some freedom there. We're not forcing them down, we're just letting gravity do their work. Totally letting go, letting the shoulders fall. And then allow yourself to rest. Check in with the way you're seated, making any adjustments you need to feel a bit more comfortable. And sitting up tall in your spine. Let's move through a couple different neck stretches this morning. So your hands can stay where they are, or if you're seated cross-legged and it's available, you can reach down and hold on with both hands to your front ankle or front shin. This is just to help your neck and the sides of your shoulders kind of lengthen. So you want your arms to be nice and long and straight here. We're still sitting up just tall in our spine, trying not to round or really arch and rock it off. Drawing those shoulders down, and start to lower left ear toward left shoulder. Three long breaths. Slowly start to sweep your chin down, not all the way to the center of your chest, but just halfway. So finding a diagonal angle here. Crown of your head is just gently reaching up and over to your left. Let's move now, chin to the center of your chest, drawing both shoulders onto your back, extending, lengthening the back of your neck. And then let's move halfway up to the right. So not all the way to the right, just a little ways. Noticing your breath. And finally, come all the way over that right side. Just letting your head reach over to the right. Feel free to explore any micro movements through your head. So almost imperceptible movements, but you can shift your head, lifting your chin a little bit and then lowering it slightly to move the sense of stretch across the side of your neck. And reach all those different tissues, muscles, tendons. Relax your jaw, gently lower chin to the center of your chest. Once again, finding that neutral pose with your head lowered. And from there, lift your head back to neutral. Release your hands to your thighs. Take a breath, allowing all of those stretches in your neck a moment to integrate. From here, let's actually bring our hands up onto your shoulders, onto your neck. Start with your shoulders. We're just going to do a little self-massage here. Squeezing a little bit, palpating. You might enjoy a really soft and gentle touch here, or maybe just holding your shoulders, offering them some support. Or it might feel nice this morning to give yourself a little back rub, shoulder rub. Notice, how do your muscles feel under your hands? Is there a sense of suppleness? That things feel a little rigid? Just observe. Let's start to move up the sides or the back of the neck, just gently pressing in with the fingers, or again, maybe just holding very tenderly the back of your neck. This is a chance for you to tune in and get curious about how's the best way to massage or hold my neck and shoulders today. And sometimes palpating isn't what our back or shoulders or neck really want to feel. Just gently moving back down, back of your neck, and back to your shoulders one more time, giving them some love. And then just letting your hands relax down. And again, finding a long breath. Use your next inhale, start to sweep arms to the ceiling. Hands can meet above you if that's available. Exhale, draw your hands down to heart center. 2 more just like that. Big breath in as you reach out and up. Long breath out, relaxing. Shoulders down your back. 1 more. Great. 1 more seated stretch. Let's inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Let's find our side bend. Up and over to your right, extending out of your right hip or left hip. Those left fingertips reaching up and over. And we can work with our neck in this pose as well. So relaxing your jaw, trying to soften around your shoulders a little bit so we're not forcing this stretch. And then gently start to move your gaze down to the floor, to your right. And then start to lift your gaze up toward the ceiling under your lifted arm. And just find a few more like that. We're just swiveling, loosening, and inviting some movement into the cervical spine. Change where your gaze is moving. What are you looking at when you look at the ceiling? Can you look at something different the next time you raise your gaze? That will actually get different muscles involved in the stretch. All right, using an exhale, start to release. Let's make our way back down. It was quite a while to hold that left arm up, so give yourself a breath Feel what's happening in that in the arm that was lifted. And we'll move to the other side, inhaling, both arms sweep out and up. Exhaling, left hand comes down, reaching up and over. And try to keep your shoulders soft here, keeping your right sits bone connected to your mat. And feel free to relax your jaw and start to play with your neck again here, gazing down toward the floor. And then moving your gaze slowly all the way up toward the ceiling, or whatever is available for you in your neck. Just be gentle. Let's find one more inhale. Use your exhale to release, making your way back to neutral spine. Sitting up tall here. Let's make our way into a table pose. If you have a hard floor where you're practicing, then I invite you to open up your blanket once or twice and actually use a little blanket to pad your knees when we're on our knees today. Let's stack our shoulders above wrists, hips above knees, pressing down with the toenails and the tops of your feet. And then grounding firmly through your palms and finger pads. Let the eyes, the fronts of your elbows spin toward the front of your mat, externally rotating the upper arms. And gently hug your low ribs and your belly in towards your body. A long breath here, pressing down into the mat, feeling some strength and grounding in your arms, legs, and maybe even your core. Let's begin with cat-cows today. Inhaling, lower the belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, hang out here for another breath. Just inviting your body to settle into a little back bend, drawing shoulders back. Gently start to press the floor away from you. Draw your belly in and round your back. Exhaling, you might tuck your chin here, curling your tailbone under. And then find your own rhythm once again. Move with your breath. Inhales, arch your back. Exhales, round your back. Find one more, moving in each direction. And then make your way back to table pose with a neutral spine. From your table pose, start to gaze over your left shoulder and draw your left hip and left shoulder closer together. Press your right hand into the mat, pressing the mat away from you. And just helping you to curve into your left side. And then we'll move to the other side. So just making a C shape with your spine as best you can, gazing over the right shoulder, and drawing the right hip and shoulder closer together, lengthening the left side. And then find a few just at your own pace here, moving side to side. C curves with your spine. Let's come back to neutral and make your way into table pose, or child's pose. Knees walking out to the edges of your mat. Draw your big toes together and start to let your hips press back toward your heels. Now they might be up in the air, that's completely fine, or they might be sinking down or even resting on your heels. Wherever you are, let your arms and side bodies extend forward. Lower your forehead to a block or your mat. Notice if your breath starts to slow down naturally in child's pose. Lift your gaze and then come up on tented fingers on your left hand. We'll find a threaded needle in our child's pose today. So taking the right arm, you're going to reach that right arm under your left arm and start to wiggle your arm a little further over to your left until you can come down onto the outside of your right arm, maybe your right shoulder, and lower your head again to a block or the floor. So you're gazing basically under your left arm or under your left armpit. You can keep left fingertips tented and the elbow lifted for a bit more active stretch. For more restorative, just let that left arm totally relax and let yourself rest on your shoulder. So just to be clear here, the right arm, which is the one we're stretching, your palm should be turned up toward the ceiling. Inhale, once again, lift your gaze. Let's start to release, drawing right arm back out and extending it forward. And tent the fingers on your right hand and switch sides. So turn that left palm over toward the ceiling and then reach your left hand under your right arm. Find as much of a twist as you're able to here in your shoulders with comfort. And then let the left side of your head rest down on your mat. Option to keep your right fingers tented and right elbow lifted, or just let your whole body relax, whichever you prefer. Inhale, lift your gaze and start to make your way out. Extend your left arm forward so both hands plant on your mat. Then inhale, hips lift. Let's come back into our table pose. And you can choose to stay in tabletop today. Or if you'd like to explore downward facing dog, tuck your toes under. Keep your knees bent as you lift your hips. Press into your palms to send your tailbone high. Then start to let your heels reach down toward the floor, lengthening the backs of your legs. Just as in table pose, we want that external rotation in the biceps, the upper arms. So let the eyes, the fronts of your elbows, start to turn more toward the front of your mat. You can walk out your downward dog a little bit, moving through your legs. Let your head nod. And from either down dog or table pose, you're going to gaze forward and then make your way up to the front of your mat where you'll find a forward fold. So taking your time again, don't lift your upper body all the way up, just come into a forward fold. Your knees can bend here as much as you'd like. Then let your hands rest on blocks or on the floor as your head just hangs heavy here. Let's find a rag dog.
Interlacing hands into your elbow creases. Let the weight of your arms start to lengthen your spine. Now, you do probably want a bend, at least a little bend in your knees. So you can help to distribute your weight equally between the heels, balls, and toes of your feet. Feel free to find movement in your upper body for a couple more breaths, letting some swaying happen or nodding, shaking your head. Coming back to center, release your hands. Let's inhale, flat back. Drawing your hands up your shins. Draw your shoulders back, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, belly to thighs, fold. Knees bend, gaze forward, and flip your palms. Use an inhale to sweep your arms slowly out and up. As you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Try not to lock your knees. Let your shoulders slide down your back and your feet connect with the floor. Feet pointing forward or maybe slightly out to the side. That just depends on where your thigh bones are located in your hip joints. So it's a little different for all of us. And just another chance for you to tune into your body and see, well, what feels best for me? Toes pointing straight forward, or maybe toes slightly pointing outward. From here, I'm going to invite us actually to move into a movement exercise just to get a little bit of our prana, our energy flowing in our body for our next group of poses. So from standing, make sure you have a gentle bend in your knees, really sitting on your heels here, feet connected to the floor. And let's start to shake our hands out. So just letting your hands flop around and hands are shaking. And then let that shaking start to travel up your arms. So there's no wrong way to shake. Just letting go of some of that control over your body here. And just letting it shake. Shake your shoulders. Arms and hands still shaking. You can start rocking weight from one foot to the other if you want. Notice how you just naturally started doing that with this movement. And then shake your chest, your back, and start to bounce a little bit more on your heels. Let your breath come through. Your breathing starts to get a little deeper maybe, a little faster. Let your head shake a little. Your face, your jaw. Continue the shaking. Let's do it on one leg and just let one leg shake. Forward and back, out to the side, flopping your foot around. And then move to the other leg. You can keep those arms going too if you want a little added shaking. And just letting it shake out of the hip, out of the knee, out of the ankle. And then shake your whole body. Just find your own way to shake everything all at once. Find some movement. Shake those arms up, out to the side, down toward the floor. Shake your hips. Shake your head, your shoulders. And then start to slow that shaking down. And make your way up to the front of your mat, again, with your feet hips width or a little wider. Let your arms rest. Your knees are not locked here, so we're still really holding ourselves with our muscles. And just notice the sensations in your body. And shaking it out gets a lot of our energy moving inside of us. So see if you can notice, is your heart beating? Can you sense that? Or maybe your breath is more full. Let's find a big, deep sigh together. Long breath in. Sigh out. Inhale, start to sweep arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Continue with your breath. Inhale, circling arms up. Exhale, settle back into your feet as you lower your hands. Find one more. As you exhale, let your thumbs rest at heart center, gazing through your fingertips or letting your eyes close. If eyes are closed, start to gently flutter them open. Let's inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Soften your knees, exhale, swan dive forward. Keep your belly strong to fold all the way over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale as you fold. We're going to find a low lunge today with our left foot forward. So we're switching it up again today. Left foot is forward to begin. Work your right foot to the back of your mat, and then bring your right knee down to the floor. So however it makes sense for you, just find your way into this shape, a lunge with your left foot forward, left knee stacked above your ankle. Really great idea to have some padding under your back knee. Once you're here, you can bring your right hand down onto a block or the floor. Make sure that your right wrist is below your shoulder. Left hand rests on your left thigh. Let's twist our spine. Stack your shoulders, gaze to your left. You might start to lengthen and slow your breath again here. If that's a part of your practice, you can play with Ujjayi or ocean breath. Just slightly closing off the back of your throat to bring a little whispering or a wave sound to your inhale and your exhale. And you don't want that breath to be so loud that someone in the other room could hear you breathing. Might just want it to be loud enough so someone right next to you might be able to hear you breathing. Let's exhale, release the left hand to the floor and come up onto tented fingertips. If you have blocks, this is a great time to bring your blocks underneath your hands. Fire up your thighs here. Hugging your thighs toward each other energetically so you can have that solid foundation underneath you of strength. Using an inhale, let's start to lift the upper body. Sweeping the arms up, biceps beside your ears. Press down firmly with your left big toe and the ball of your left foot. If you prefer, you can have both your hands resting on your front thigh. That offers a little more stability. From your low lunge, if your arms are lifted, then I invite you to bend your elbows. Start to open your heart. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. So this is kind of a funny analogy, but it kind of works for me visually. If you imagine that you had a cherry tomato, and it was right in between your shoulder blades, Could you imagine squeezing your shoulder blades together so that you can hold the cherry tomato between your shoulder blades? So really contracting inward on your back, keeping that strength down your biceps, your hands out wide. And big breaths into your heart, your chest, as we open up that front area of your body. As you inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, float your hands down to blocks or the floor. Tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee, strengthening up through the thigh. Take one or more steps with your back foot up to the front of your mat, and we'll fold forward over our legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Let's move to the other side. This time your right foot will be forward. So we'll work the left foot to the back of your mat and bring your left knee down. So finding your lunge, right foot forward this time, right knee above your ankle, and plant your left hand either on the block or the floor. Right shoulder stacks above right wrist. Left shoulder stacks above left wrist. Getting my lefts and rights confused today. Right hand on your right thigh, and start to twist, stacking your shoulders, gazing to your right. So I may have messed up quite a few of those lefts or rights, and I apologize. If you're confused, we're just moving into the other side of our lunge. So whichever leg you didn't have forward before, you want that one forward. Using your exhale, start to unwind your twist and bring both hands down to frame your front foot on blocks or the floor. You might be on tented fingertips here. Then fire up through your thighs. Press down with your right big toe. And using an inhale, start to lift your upper body. Now you can bring your biceps beside your ears here, or of course you might rest both hands on your front thigh while you find your stability. It is important to engage your core in this pose, especially if arms are lifted, because that helps you stay centered and balanced. So gently engaging inward around your navel. Option to find cactus arms, elbows out from your shoulders, and starting to squeeze shoulder blades together behind you, strengthening up your back. Long breaths, your gaze at a single point of focus in front of you. Let's inhale, both arms reach up. Exhale, float your hands back down. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and take one or more steps with your back foot to the front of your mat. Fold over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and make your way back into a plank pose. Or from plank, let your knees come down. So knees are further back behind your hips for plank pose with your knees down. It's not quite a table pose because we don't have to do a lot of work in table pose to keep our hips lifted. So you want your hips in front of your knees if your knees are down, engaging through your abdomen. If your knees are lifted, hips and shoulders are at the same height. Gently curling the tailbone under to lengthen your low back. Pressing the floor away from you. Let's find one more inhale. With your exhale, bring yourself all the way down onto the floor. In one piece, we're bringing knees down first and lowering with your elbows bending beside your ribs. Roll over your toes. Let's find our Sphinx Pose. So walk your elbows forward until they're beneath your shoulders. Again, you might find that you like a wider stance, elbows a little out from shoulders, and that's okay too. Start to walk your shoulders onto your back, and then press into your elbows, and let your heart lift and heart reach forward. I'll give an option to find another stretch in your neck here. So we stay in Sphinx Pose in our upper body, the shoulders drawing back, the heart reaching forward, the elbows pressing down. But then just gently start to let your head drop forward so your chin can hang heavy. That might allow you to even draw your shoulders further onto your back. Inhale, lift your gaze if it's lowered. Exhale, release Sphinx Pose. Walk your hands back beside your ribs. Draw your shoulders back and hug your elbows in toward your rib cage. Press down into your feet, strengthen your thighs, your glutes. Using an inhale, start to lift your heart any amount off the floor for Cobra Pose. Keep your elbows drawing inward, your shoulders sliding down your back, the crown of your head reaching forward. As you exhale, start to gently release. Inhale, push up table pose. Child's pose, walking knees out wide, big toes together, and let your hips rock back and down. Your forehead or cheek can come down to the mat or your block. And if your arms would like something different here, just let your arms wrap around the outside of your legs, your shoulders slump forward. Reach your hands forward. Gently make your way up to table pose. And stay there or find downward facing dog, tucking your toes under and lifting your hips up and back. From down dog or from table pose, start to send your weight onto either your left foot or your left knee, and then lift your right leg up and back behind you. Any amount. If you're in down dog and you want to open your hip, bend your right knee, start to send your knee up toward the ceiling as you draw your heel in towards your glutes. Then square your torso back onto your mat, just like in downward dog. Pressing equally through both hands, especially your right hand. Inhale, three-legged dog or three-legged table pose. Exhale, right foot comes down.
You can take rest for a few breaths in child's pose before we move to the other side, or hang out in down dog, building heat and strength in your arms. Let's move to the other side, lifting the left leg up and back any amount. From down dog, send your right heel down toward the floor. An option to open your hip, so bending the left knee, and then pivoting your hip so your left knee starts to reach up toward the ceiling as your heel draws in towards your glutes. Press firmly into your left hand from down dog, squaring your torso back to your mat. Straighten your legs, square your hips. Exhale, down dog or table pose. Let's all gently make our way up to the front of our mats into a forward fold. Keep a gentle bend in both your knees. Just let your upper body hang forward. If you just spend a long time in down dog or table, you might circle your wrists, making fists. As you're in your forward fold, just let your head nod and shake. Letting hands release down. Take a bend in your knees and really feel your weight in your feet. So your feet are holding you up. Let your upper body, your head hang heavy, your arms hang heavy. And take 2 to 3 long breaths to start to roll up your spine. Press down into your feet as you let your spine roll up one vertebra at a time. Allow your head to be the very last thing to rise. As your head comes up, you can do a little shoulder roll, opening your heart to the front of your room. And from there, let's just find another long sigh. So deep breath in through your nose. Just letting off a little bit of heat, some energy. Bringing your hands onto your hips. Let's find a warrior 2 pose. Your left foot forward this time. So step your right foot to the back of your mat and start to bend into your left knee. You want your front toes on the left foot to be pointing forward and your right toes pointing out to the right. So our hips are opening a bit here, bending into your left knee. Really straight and strong through your right back leg. Reach your arms out over your legs, straight out from your shoulders, and gently engage your core. All right, we'll find a little bit of movement here with our breath. Flipping your front palm over, use your inhale to start to reverse your warrior. And then as you exhale, we'll windmill the arms into side angle. Left elbow or forearm resting on your thigh. Right arm reaching straight overhead or lengthening overhead, spinning pinky down toward the floor. We'll move through this sequence a couple more times. Really feel your feet on the floor and let the movements come from your feet, pressing down. As you inhale, start to lift left arm, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. One more, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, back up to warrior 2. Exhale, hands to your hips. Straighten through your front leg.
And then pivot your foot. So both your feet are facing the side of your mat. Let your big toes be pointing inward just slightly. So your second toe is parallel with the front and back edges of your mat. We'll fold forward here, so if you like to use blocks or you need something to bring your hands onto, like a pillow, when you fold forward, please go ahead and grab something now so you can have it here in front of you. Hands to hips, let's strengthen up the thighs. So really feel your kneecaps lift as your thighs engage. And then find a slight micro bend in your knees, so we're not totally locking our knees. Using an exhale, begin to hinge forward at the hips. So just lengthening through your spine, keeping those legs nice and long, tailbone reaching back, and come maybe halfway down till you're in a flat back with your spine. At this point, keep your belly engaged. Maybe let your hands come down either your blocks or your pillows or the floor. Gently letting yourself fold. Any amount that's comfortable for you, keeping that long spine. You can let your head hang heavy. Your hands or forearms rest on blocks or the floor. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips. And then walk your hands over to your left foot. So you can just let your hands or blocks rest near your left foot, or you might hold on to your left ankle, gently drawing your upper body down to your left. Let the crown of your head reach toward your toes. Start to release, come back onto your fingertips and find that flat back and center. And then once you've neutralized your spine and brought it into a long line again, start to make your way over to your right. So your blocks or hands can just rest there on the right side, or you might take hold of your foot, your ankle, and continue to let yourself fold forward. Draw the crown of your head down towards your right toes. Start to release. Let's walk hands back to center. Find your flat back on fingertips or blocks. Take even a little more of a bend in your knees so you can really feel your legs engage. Very little weight in your hands. With an inhale, bring your hands to your hips. Keep your back parallel to the floor. And then exhale there. Using your next inhale, press down into your feet. Gently rise your upper body to standing. Exhaling there. Let's find our warrior two on the other side. So your right foot forward this time. You might just pivot your right foot on your mat and bend into your right knee. Or you can switch sides if you need to see the screen. Bending into right knee, straight left leg, nice and strong through your back thigh. Reach your arms out from your shoulders. Gaze softens over your front fingertips. Let's make our way through that movement again, flipping the front palm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Right forearm to thigh. Left arm can reach straight up or keep extending overhead if that's safe in your shoulder.
And then find your rhythm with your breath. Windmilling your arms into reverse warrior and then side angle. Let's find one more. Big side angle pose. Inhale back to warrior two. Hands to hips. Straighten your front knee. Pivot your toes, so once again, you're facing the side of your mat. Now this time we'll move more into a hip opening variation. You might walk your feet in a little bit if your hips are a little tighter. I'm just gonna set my blanket off to the side so it's easier to see. This time, external rotation of your feet, so toes out to the side, bend those knees. Let your hands come down to your inner thighs just above your knees. And then find the length of stance that really works for you here. So yours might look a bit more like this, and that's completely fine. There are many different variations of this pose. We're just working into the hips, the inner thighs. So letting your hands gently press your inner thighs away from you. As you let your tailbone start to drop down, your spine's long here. You might find some figure eights with your tailbone, just finding some movement through your hips, through your knees. Coming back to center, stay here or for 5 breaths, engage your core, lift your upper body, goddess pose. So press your knees out to the sides. Keep your belly strong, your shoulder blades drawing together on your back. For less, straighten your knees. For more, deepen the bend in your knees, letting your hips sink down even lower. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, stand tall. Pivot your feet, walk your way back up to the front of your mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, arms lift. Soften your knees, exhale, dive down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Now plant your palms and step back. You can make your way straight into a seated pose or flow through vinyasa first. Front plank or knee plank. Exhale to lower half or all the way down. Roll over your toes. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, release forehead. Soften your body. Inhale, push back up onto hands and knees. And then let's just make our way around to seated. And if you have a block today, then go ahead and grab that. If all you have is a blanket, that's fine. You can roll it up again into maybe a thicker roll. We'll find supported bridge. And you can also use a pillow, just to give a little elevation to your back once you're on your back. Bend your knees, feet plant. Reach your arms forward. And use your core to slow your roll as you make your way down onto your back. Draw your navel in toward your spine and let your back round. All right, once you're down on the floor, supported bridge pose. So if you already know it, go ahead and find it. Otherwise, walk your heels in close to your sits bones.
Feet hips width or wider apart. Take your block, your blanket, your pillow, and just have it in one hand. And start to press into your heels and let your hips lift up just enough to slide your block or pillow or whatever under your sacrum. So we're just giving a little bit of height to the pelvis, the low back. You want the support that you're using to be under the back of your hips. So really not under the vertebra itself, not right under your spine, but under your sacrum, a flat, triangular shaped bone, just at the back of your hips. Let your body start to relax onto whatever it is that you're using. And you can choose any arm variation here. Hands can just rest on your belly. You might reach arms overhead once again, holding opposite elbows. The only thing here is try to keep your neck neutral. So just gazing at the ceiling. Try not to move your head side to side because there's a little pressure on your head here, and that's not very good for your neck. So we did a lot of movement in our practice today, and you might be noticing some sensations in your body that tell you just how much you moved and just how much you efforted today. Well, now we're reaching the more restful part of our practice. So start to let your exhales be longer. Invite a sense of relaxation into anywhere in your body that feels some tension. Maybe just 1% more relaxation. Now you can feel free to stay right here, or you can join me in a supported inversion, bending your knees to lift your feet off the floor, and then letting your feet float up into the air to hover above your hips. And you might need to readjust your pillow or whatever you're using a little bit if you don't have a yoga block today, just to make yourself comfortable. Hips a little bit elevated. You can just breathe in stillness, or for your next 6 breaths, find movement of any kind through your feet, ankles, knees, and hips. Gently start to bend knees, lower feet, back to the floor with knees bent. Once your feet are grounded, press into your heels, lifting hips enough to remove your support from under your back, and then gently roll down the length of your spine, just letting your low back relax against the floor. Sweep your arms out to a T from your shoulders. And gently let your knees lower to your right side. So your knees may be offset here, or you can feel free to stack your knees if that's more comfortable in your body. Option to begin moving your gaze over your left shoulder. Bring your gaze to the ceiling, your knees back up, and find a long line with your spine. And then the twist to your left. Knees lowering to your left, either separated or thighs stacked. If it's okay in your neck, gaze to your right. Bring your gaze to the ceiling and your knees back to center. And then draw both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Send yourself some love and compassion and gratitude for the time you took to be here and practice yoga this morning. And then make your way into your variation of the resting pose. Either lying flat on your back with legs extended, arms down by your sides, or feel free to roll up your blanket, bring it under your knees, or under your head, whatever's comfortable for you. Softening around the eyes, option to close eyes. Walk your shoulders down away from your ears, no matter where you are here, and then slightly tuck your chin to lengthen the back of your neck. Your spine is in one long line. And notice those places where your tailbone and the back of your head are connecting to the floor. So just those connection points for your spine and anywhere else along your back that feels supported by the floor in this moment.
Gradually draw your attention back into your body. Just noticing where your awareness was. Taking a deeper breath. Start to wiggle your toes and run your thumbs across your fingertips. Point and flex your feet. Draw circles with both wrists. Relax your jaw and rock your head side to side. Extend both of your arms overhead, drawing your feet closer together, lengthening your legs. And just take a big, long stretch. And at your own pace, draw your knees in and roll over onto either side, using your upper arm to support your head. Resting there on your side for a breath or two, giving your body time to transition slowly out of resting pose. Gently start to press into your hands, make your way back up to seated. And feel free to bring a blanket or a pillow underneath you for some added support. As you find a seat with your shoulders stacked above your hips, both sits bones equally grounded down, and the crown of your head gently reaching up. Hands might rest in your lap, or you can join palms together, heart center. And thanks to each and every one of you for joining in this morning. The light in me bows to the light in each one of you. Namaste.